Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Hopefully, everyone is doing good. Hopefully, you guys were buying throughout the dip. We were covering a lot of projects during the correction on Patreon. We were discussing things in the Telegram chat, so feel free to join those. The link is going to be down below in the description. If you have an altcoin that you would like me to take a look at, send it down below in the comment section, and we're going to go through Bitcoin, and we're going to go through a few altcoins that I think are worth looking at, and we're going to go through a few pieces of news. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet today. So starting off with the crypto market cap list here on CoinMarketCap. So Bitcoin is hovering around $94,000. So it went up approximately $20,000 since the local bottom at around 75. Ethereum is starting to move to the upside, and this is what everyone has been waiting for, is a pump from Ethereum that will lead us into an alt season. XRP sitting at $2, which is quite impressive. I thought XRP was going to dump during the correction with the rest of the market. And then we have Tether here at 147 billion, and slowly but surely, but USDC is trying to catch up. So at some point in the near future, it's possible that the adoption of USDC is going to take it up to, $150 billion market cap, just like Tether is at. So that's a possibility. Now it's being used in Europe, and Tether is no longer allowed in European countries, at least in the EU. BNB is doing what it's doing, and nothing much. Solana is back up above 100. Well, it was back up above $150, now sitting at 149. Cardano still in the top 10, sitting at 70 cents. And Dogecoin, I don't really care about Dogecoin, but it's up 15%. Sui has been performing extremely well. And we actually talked about Sui on March 11th on our Patreon, and I gave you some buying opportunities there. And lo and behold, it pumped from the support block I gave you, and you're up approximately. So what? That was a 9, approximately 70 to 80%. So that was a good entry point. Chainlink sitting around $15, and yeah. So these are the top 10, top 20 coins. BitTensor has been performing extremely well. We're sitting at 345 bucks, and this is around a $3 billion market cap project. I think this can easily get to at least a $10 billion market cap. Near Protocol is back above $2.50. Near is one of my biggest bets in this bull market. Ondo is back up close to $1. And I do have Ondo, I do have Near, I do have BitTensor, full transparency there. Polygon is just destroyed, essentially. Good thing we sold that with minimum profit last year, I believe. And Render, 2.2 billion. I think Render is still a good buy. It hasn't pumped too much. And if we go to the AI sector here, this is what has been outperforming everyone else. Trick shots. We're going to take a look at Render. And by the way, let me know if you can hear any background noise. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be hearing any background noise. So this is the AI sector, and as you can see, all of them are performing really well. Over the past 7 days, we have some that even did a 3x. This is Tars AI. We have Turbo, I think that's a meme coin. Zerobro, Griffin, 125% up from its bottom, which is pretty impressive. AI XBT is up 90%. Hash AI, we were talking about Hash AI. I was giving you these altcoins during the correction, guys, on YouTube, and I was giving them on Patreon. I was giving even more on Patreon. Saga is up 50%. Palm AI is up 50%. Chain GPT is up 40%. So the point is, a lot of these altcoins are up. So you don't want to be going for the ones that have gone up too much. So the only ones that I think are still worth looking at in terms of really good ROI, a really safe altcoin would be Injective. You could also look at Altura. And I would say the safest still mid-cap AI coin that hasn't gone up too much is Destra. So I would say Destra is should be your last pick there. If you're looking for as low market cap as possible, but still safe. And this doesn't even have a Binance listing yet. Like, this is listed only on a handful of exchanges. And once we have Binance, maybe Coinbase, Kraken, maybe we get BitGet, then with an increase in volume, this will outperform the rest of the AI coins, hopefully. And we do have some YouTubers that are, promoting this coin. So hopefully Alex Becker, Crypto God John, and maybe House of Crypto are going to be mentioning this coin, and that will drive more volume. Aether is another powerful AI coin. I think their revenue, in terms of their revenue, they're one of the top 10 coins. But this also isn't listed on a lot of exchanges. It is on Coinbase, but it's not on Binance. So keep that in mind. Okay, so yeah, that's what we have for the quick breakdown of the CoinMarketCap page. If we switch over to the Bitcoin price action, let us see what's going on here. And welcome everyone who's joined. This will be available as a video after the live stream is done. Let me find the correct chart that I'm looking at. So yeah, so this is the weekly Bitcoin chart. And let me just try to zoom in so we can see what's going on. All right, so this right here is our target from the bullish flag. So we broke out of this bull flag, and our target was around here. So $184,000. The reason why it's 184 is because you have to place the breakout pole from the point of breakout. So this was here in October, so that's why the target is going to be there. Doesn't mean that we're definitely going to get to that price. Doesn't mean that it has to adhere to it perfectly, but that's just one of the targets you can add to your overall strategy. And, in case it does get to 85,000, you can potentially sell, some Bitcoin there. Now we're breaking past the 20 EMA on the weekly, which is a super bullish sign from Bitcoin. We were down below it for a few weeks. And if you take a look at this correction in 2024, we were down below the 20 EMA for a bit. So this was a correction during a bull market. This is also a correction during a bull market. And now we're breaking past the 20 EMA. The last time we did that here, and obviously a few times before that, we had a pretty strong move to the upside, but then we had a correction. So, there's no saying whether we're going to drop back below the 20 EMA or not. But usually when you have a powerful move above a resistance level, you have lots of volume coming in, the hype is, coming back, then that's a good sign that this could potentially be the reversal everyone's looking at. If not, if this is not the reversal yet, then we're going to have another correction potentially below the 20 EMA. So maybe coming back down to $80,000. Let's go to the daily chart here, see where the 20 EMA is at. So the 20 EMA here is at $88,000. So that's a potential level for you to look at if you're interested in getting more Bitcoin. Let me pull up a slightly different Bitcoin chart here. I want to show you something because this one doesn't have a lot of indicators. Okay, so this is also the weekly chart on Bitcoin. And what happened here essentially is we dropped all the way down to the 55 EMA. Now, if you recall watching my videos, my live streams, I was talking about the 55 EMA retest. And I was saying that if we do drop down that low, it is going to be an incredible opportunity to get into Bitcoin. And so far that has played out very accurately. And the reason why I was saying that it would be a great buying opportunity during a bull market is because We did this twice in 2024, so more precisely in August and in September 2024. Before that, during a correction in a bull market in 2021, we had a drop all the way down to the 55 EMA from these first initial highs in September. Or sorry, this was which correction am I looking at? Yeah, so from April 2021, we dropped all the way down to these July bottoms here, which was around the 55 EMA. So that's the reason why I'm saying the 55 EMA is a very strong support level during a bull market correction. During a bear market, once you drop below the 55 and you start back testing it as resistance, that is essentially, another confirmation of a bear market on top of the other confirmations that you may be looking at. But in a case of a correction during a bull market, the 55 acts as a very strong support. So seemingly we had this ABC correction here. It has played out, and now we're looking to reverse the trend, and we're looking to start printing higher highs and higher lows, potentially taking us to our bull market target at around $150,000, which was my target from the very beginning. 150 to around 156. That was our target, and I still think that's a possibility. My time frames, the time frames I was expecting this to happen during, which we saw a correction, right? I was expecting us to see a very strong move in the first half of 2025. That didn't happen, so I was caught off guard, and I paid the price for that, right? Because I didn't take profits, let's say in January, which. In hindsight, obviously, we're looking at the prices and we're like, yeah, we should have been selling. But the thing is, if you look at past cycles and you look at the past years, that Bitcoin has performed very well in March, in February, in April. So we were expecting an alt season during that time. So that was my bet. It didn't play out. So now we're going to be looking for a Bitcoin cycle top in the second half of 2025. September is a month that I would be looking at because that's going to be precisely 17 to 18 months after the Bitcoin halving, which usually in the past cycles, it took around 17 to 18 months for a top to be printed. So Bitcoin is doing everything it needs to be doing. If we add a Fibonacci retracement here to the chart, so we're running into the golden ratio as resistance just a little bit. What we need to do is we need to break past that. And in a bullish scenario, we would have a very strong move to the upside past these $103,000 levels. If we're going to be playing it a little safe and we're not going to be seeing massive candles like we were over here in November 2024, then it's possible we're going to hover around the 20 EMA on the weekly and slowly but surely make our way back up to the top. And a really good thing to point out here is the gap that we had between the EMAs over here is now way smaller, right? So now we're down here. So the gap is not as big as it was over here. And the EMAs came back down together, and now we're going to have another bounce to the upside. The EMAs are going to go up this way again, right? They're going to almost go vertical. And the next time this happens, I would strongly suggest you look into some selling positions and some, I'm not saying you have to sell, obviously not financial advice, but the next time we have a massive pump on Bitcoin, especially if we get to $150,000, especially if that's in September to November, chances are that's the cycle peak. Now, altcoins may continue pumping after that, but there's no way to know that in advance. It has happened in the last cycle, right? Cardano peaked after Bitcoin's peak in April. If we're going to assume that the Bitcoin cycle ended in April 2021, Near Protocol peaked in January 2022. So lots of altcoins peaked after Bitcoin's peak. So there's no telling as to when the altcoins will start pumping or end their pump, but we can be certain that Bitcoin cycle will come to an end at the end of this year, if not, even in September. Thank you for your requests, guys. We're going to take a look at the altcoins in just a minute. Hello, Elorum. How are you doing, my friend? How's the market been treating you? So everyone who essentially bought the dip on all of these altcoins that are pumping now is doing pretty well. you either had to dollar cost average or you simply had to enter and create a position. So this was the support block that I gave everyone on Patreon for SUI. So this was between $2.35 down to $1.73. And we perfectly bounced off the $1.73 range. And from there, we exploded. If I can get the ruler out. Yeah, so we're up 118% on SUI. So this is what I mean when I say patience pays off. So if you entered in March, in April, at the beginning of April, you would have 2x your money pretty much instantly. So now what we want to see from SUI is the completion of this wave 5. So we just set our wave 4 bottom, okay? And this is still a valid Elliott wave structure. Why? Because the wave 4 bottom didn't drop below the wave 1 top. So that's very important. The wick doesn't count really. We're looking at the candle closures. The candles essentially perfectly retested the previous top. So this was our support bounce. And it came right on top of this previous resistance bounce. Okay, so this was a picture perfect back test of support. And what we're looking at right now for SUI is a move back up above, at least above $5 here, which is the all-time high. So we're looking at $6.36. That's going to be our first technical target for SUI. That's the second fib level. And then you have the 2.272 at roughly $8.80. So those are the two targets based on the fib here. The fib is set up from the bottom in July 2024 to the top in March 2024. So there's lots of hype behind SUI at the moment. Look at the volume there. The volume is spiking, and this is a good sign. So when you have volume and you're breaking through resistance levels, this shows strength, and hopefully we're going to be entering the alt season relatively soon. Let's go through the request that we had here. Render. Okay, I haven't looked at render in a little while. Okay, so this was our Fibonacci setup from the top in March 2024 to the bottom in August 2023. The retracement took us all the way down to the golden ratio at $3.21. So that's a good thing. We retraced to the 0.618. From there, now we're starting to move to the upside little by little. And we do want to see a break of the EMAs here. We want the EMAs to cross again. We want to see a bullish cross. If that doesn't happen, if we keep getting pressured lower and lower, we might continue dropping here towards these levels between $2.80 down to $1.36. So we need to see that spike in volume, and we need to see a spike in demand for render. But as of right now, this is a really good buying opportunity in my opinion. Now the bigger fib here, let's take a look at the bigger fib. So this one is set up from the bottom in December 2022, which was the bear market bottom, to the top in November 2021, which was the cycle top for the previous bull market. Obviously, we printed a new all-time high over here in March 2024. But since then, we've been in a downtrend for more than a year, okay? And this needs to reverse. So let me see if we can have a nice Elliott wave count. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, this is still a valid count there. And our wave 5 can potentially take us to, anywhere between $15 to $22. I think that would be a fair price to expect from render. If everything goes according to plan, we have a proper alt season send-off, blow-off top for this cycle, then yeah, I think we should be good to go. And this should be a really good buying opportunity, guys. If you take a look at the weekly RSI, it's still pretty low. The stochastic started recovering here from the oversold. So it's still not too late to buy, in my opinion. If you look at other AI coins, they've pumped a lot. This one still hasn't. Actually, let me take a look at this. Okay, 84%. Wow. It actually has pumped. For some reason, I thought it was around 15% move to the upside, but 84% is quite significant, I'll be honest. And we're running into the 20 MA as resistance. I mean, look, it depends on your, yeah, the stochastic is in the overbought. It depends on your strategy. And if you think this is too expensive, obviously don't buy now. Wait for a retracement. Possibly $3.77 is going to be a great area to get more render. But if you're looking at, $22, $20, then buying right now at 4.6 is a pretty good deal, in my opinion. Arif is asking for Rose. Let's take a look at Rose. There we go. So this is an altcoin that I had, and I sold it because it wasn't performing as well. I sold it last year, and I moved the funds into other altcoins, into other AI coins that are going to be performing very well, in my opinion. But this is, did they have a token swap for Oasis or no? Let me take a look at their CoinMarketCap page real quick. Yeah, there was no token swap. This is essentially the accurate chart. This is what the chart looks like right now. And if you were on my Patreon, then you were advised. Ricky, we're gonna take a look at Arkham. We're going one by one, so we're gonna do all the requests in order. So Oasis dropped below the bear market bottom it had in December 2022, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's a massive, massive red flag. That is very bad. Okay, doesn't mean that everything is over yet for Rose, but that's the first red flag that that should make you go, okay, maybe I should reconsider my position in this project. So what I suggest you do, depending on your entry, if you're able to break even with this coin and get out, then I would probably look at some other altcoins, some other AI coins that are gonna perform way better than Oasis, because you are buying altcoins because you want to outperform Bitcoin. And Oasis now being below its bear market bottom, this is not a good sign. Let me add a Fibonacci retracement here and see what the situation's looking like. This is the weekly chart, by the way. So we took the top from February, March 2024, and we took the bottom from December 2022, and we set the fib levels to the downside here. So the 1.272 is your minimal target at 0.0217, and that has been retested. Usually you get to the 1.618. So that's sitting at 0.0121. That's your technical target at the moment to the downside. So after you lose your support over here, which you did, whether you chop and then drop or you drop immediately, usually you get to the 1.618. Okay, that's the way the fib works. So I'm not saying it's going to continue dropping from here. It's possible this is going to be a recovery, but I'm just letting you know there's a chance we're coming back down to the 1.618. And also the probabilities of getting to the 1.618 vary based on the trend. So if we're in a bull market, then corrections are obviously not as strong as they are during bear markets. So in a bear market, you can be more certain that the 1.618 to the downside will be met. The same goes for the uptrend during a bull market. So let's see if this was the actual bottom for Rose Oasis, but there's a strong chance we're going to get a rejection from this level here, 0.033. This is our previous support, now flipped to resistance. But if we manage to break past it, back test it as support, and then continue the uptrend, that's going to be a good sign from Oasis. But we virtually have no volume at the moment. The stochastic is still in the oversold. The relative strength index was very close to oversold, but it's still very low. I would say this is a good area to be getting into Oasis if you're bullish on the project, if you think it's going to be performing extremely well during these past 6 months of the cycle. Okay, so that's Oasis. The chart, unfortunately, is not bullish. The Oasis chart is not bullish. So next up, we have Near Protocol. And by the way, after this, we're going to be doing a live stream on Patreon. So if you're a patron, stick around. We're going to start the live stream at around 2 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be able to engage. And if you have any questions or any coins you want me to take a look at, we can definitely do that. Absolute Defiance, great to have you. How are you doing, my friend? So this is the Near Protocol chart. This is the weekly. Okay. Elliott wave structure that we have building here. This was our wave 2 bottom for Near Protocol. So our wave 1 started in October 2023. Wave 1 ended in April 2024. Then we had this AB from $2.59 down to $1.93. That was an incredible buying opportunity for anyone who was trying to get into Near Protocol, who missed out during this pump as low as $1.90. Incredible buying opportunity. So from here, I do think we're going to have a move to the upside, and I do think with this wave 3, we are going to be breaking past the wave 1 top, obviously, and I do think it's likely we're going to break at least get to the all-time high at $20. Wave correction, very quick correction, and then our wave 5, topping out, let's say at $40 to $50. We'll see how that goes, but at the moment, this is what I'm looking at for Near. Okay, so the chart was lagging. We're going to switch to a different. We're going to switch to a different chart here. Or actually, I think I know what we're going to do. I'm just going to share the entire screen. That way it's going to be. Okay, so this should be fine now. Okay, so as I was saying, this is what we're looking at for Near Protocol, a move to the upside from the current prices. We're still good to buy, in my opinion, in this range. And to be honest, anything below $3 is a steal for Near Protocol. So if you're looking to get into a top tier AI layer 1, then Near Protocol is where you want to be at. So Stochastic is still in the oversold. The RSI dropped down significantly, back to these 2023 September levels. So definitely a good entry point. From here, I could definitely see us getting into the overbought once again. And if this happens in September to November, you want to be taking profits regardless of your targets, regardless of where you think Near can go. If you see your altcoin at the end of the cycle, when Bitcoin is sitting at 150,000, is doing something like this, and you're not selling, then it's not going to end up well for a lot of people, in my opinion. So we're waiting for this next leg up for Near Protocol. Great buying opportunity. Yeah, that's that's everything that I can say about Near. Arkham. Let's take a look at Arkham. Oh, we don't have Arkham here. Okay. There we go. So we're going to take a look at Arkham. I do hold Arkham. The correction was brutal on Arkham. Let's go to the weekly. I haven't charted this in a little while. Okay. So essentially, Arkham came back down to its January 2024 levels, around 40 cents. So yeah, my initial entry was at 68 cents back in sometime before sometime over here. I'm just trying to see if I can, was this set up on the weekly or on the daily? I'm not sure. But the important thing to point out about Arkham is the fact that we haven't dropped below this low here. Okay, so we're still holding this low. This is going to be our higher low. From here, we're supposed to start moving to the upside. That's the idea. You know, that's our uptrend that we're going to be looking at. There's some stuff here that we don't need. Okay. So as you can see, we have a previous local top reset trend line here. So this is the top that we had in October 2024 at $1.80. That's going to be acting as a resistance level, just as we're going to see this level over here acting as resistance at $1.32. And then the next area I think we can see as a resistance is going to be this purple block here. The reason I'm saying that is because this was a very strong support during the correction in 2024, where we dropped down below $1. So we had multiple bounces for a few months there, and then we moved to the upside. We printed a lower high, and from there we dropped down once again. And when you drop below a support level, and when you're coming back up, it's very likely you're going to start retesting that as resistance. So you're going to have at least one rejection here, in my opinion, from the purple block. But there's also a possibility we're going to see something like this, and we're going to have a massive move to the upside, very quick pump, breaking all-time high prices. That's a possibility. So you can never underestimate the markets, but also you don't want to be an ultra bull. You don't want to be a perma bull that only believes everything's going to continue going up forever and ever. So this is a major resistance trend line that we have added to the chart. So as you can see, there's a few rejections here. So the initial rejection was back in March 2024. Then we had another rejection over here in June 2024. And then once again, another rejection over here in October 2024. Then we had a brief pump above that trend line, but we were not able to hold above it. We were not able to hold it as support, so we crashed below the yellow trend line once again. The reason I'm mentioning this is because on the way back up, we could be running into that yellow trend line. So there's lots of confluence in this range here. You have the 20 EMA on the weekly, you have the purple resistance block, and then you have this yellow resistance trend line. So there's lots of resistance in that range. Once we get past it, I think it's going to be a little easier. So once we passed $1, it's going to get a little easier for Arkham. Plus $1 is a psychological level. A lot of people are going to be trying to sell at $1 once they bought down here. But I think Arkham is going to perform well. I have hopes for Arkham, and I'm using their platform on a constant basis. I like their Arkham Intelligence platform, so yeah, I like Arkham. And then if we can set up a Fibonacci just so I can give you some potential targets to the upside, $5 and $5.50 essentially would be a great area to sell your coins at. That's the 1.272. That is 795% to the upside. That's around a 9x from the current prices. And look at the weekly RSI, we're very low. So once you start doing this thing again, once you start getting overbought again, that's going to be your sign that we're close to the blow off top. Buy some more RSR. Let's take a look at RSR. I think I can pull it up here. RSR against the US dollar. And I haven't charted this one here before. Okay. Let me quickly switch that back on. There we go. Okay, so this is reserve right. What's the market cap on this thing? $521 million market cap. It's listed on Binance. But it is quite an old coin. It is quite an old coin, so as you know, old coins, if a coin is going through a second cycle, then 99% of coins do not break their all-time high in the new cycle. That's just the way things work. And you don't want to be playing against the odds, right? Rarely, altcoins do break their all-time highs in their second and third cycles, but that happens very rarely. Okay, so we essentially ran into the 0.618 as resistance here at around 2 cents. This was back in December 2024. And then from that top, we dropped down 82%. Pretty much all the altcoins had a very similar correction. Let me see if I can set up a channel pattern here. Looks like we're in some sort of a channel up pattern. Oops. Try to set it up. I don't know why it has to be so annoying to use this little tool, but it is annoying. Okay, let me try to reset it up. Okay, I think I was doing it from the wrong end, but that's the channel up pattern that we're looking at. Now, channel up patterns usually break to the downside, right? That's how it works is, oh, it's not the right one. Do we have a path here? I don't have the path. Okay. So we usually have a move to the resistance of the pattern, then we move back down to the support of the pattern, and so on and so forth until the trend breaks. So this trend usually breaks to the downside. And in that case, we're going to be potentially looking at the 0.236. We're going to potentially be looking at this bottom from July 2024. But, things happen. And sometimes we break to the upside and we reverse this. We go against what the usual breakout direction is. So in that case, we're going to be looking at the golden ratio once again at 0.236. 0.618 and the 0.786 as well at around 4 cents. That's going to have a lot of confluence because these two tops here from 2021 were around that same price of 4 cents. But it's also possible that the token unlocks. Yeah, so there's a lot of, look at this token dilution. A lot of tokens were added in throughout 2021, 2022, 2023. So the market cap of the project, when it gets back up to the same price at 0.097 cents, is not going to be the same as it was back in 2021. That is one of the major reasons why most altcoins don't get back up to their all-time highs. So I would say if we're going to around a cent here, or sorry, around 10 cents. No, yeah, it would be 10 cents. So from here, that is a 968% to the upside, around an 11x. So that's still possible. That's still possible. It's going to take us to around a $5 billion market cap by the end of the cycle. You know, blow off top. Everyone's altcoins are going crazy. It is possible, okay? But anything after that, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It's, in my opinion, it's very likely that if we're going to be breaking out of this channel up pattern, we're going to do it very quickly, very briefly. We're going to get to the all-time high from the previous cycle, and then into the bear market we go. That's what I think about reserve rights. Okay, it's not because I think the project is bad. It's not because I think the team is bad. It's simply because of the numbers, the statistics. Okay. And then again, something can happen. These guys can have a massive partnership. Let's say Trump mentions them. They're going to explode in price, obviously. But these things are the exception. They're not the rule. We're talking about the rule because we want to rely on the rule. And then when the exception arrives, if you're holding the token and it does a 1000x from here, congratulations. You know, that's good for you. Just make sure to take profits. But we're talking about how the markets work in general. Hello, NW. How are you doing? Actually, it's already 2:04. We're going to be starting the Patreon live stream in just 2 minutes. So thank you, everyone, for joining. I got a little carried away here. Ross, we're going to take a look. Feel free to join the Patreon live stream. You can think of a new all-time high. Jito. So we're gonna do Jito tomorrow. So if you're not on Patreon, feel free to join the live stream tomorrow around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. And everyone who's on Patreon, we're going to be doing a Patreon live stream right now. So get your requests ready. And to everyone else, see you tomorrow. And if you want to join our Patreon, there's a 7-day free trial. The link is down below in the description. Feel free to join our community and feel free to get access to all of our content there for free, for absolutely free for 7 days. Take a look at my portfolios. Take a look at the low cap gems that we're sharing, that we have been sharing since 2021. See how they've performed. And if you like what you see, you can stick around. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.